Hey, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you a CRUD application using PHP and MySQL. So let's get started. First of all, we have to run our XAMPP server. So our XAMPP server is running. Now let me open the XAMPP folder. Inside XAMPP, we need to go to the htdocs, and inside this folder, I'm going to create another project folder, and that will be CRUD. Now let me open this and I'm going to show you a shortcut method to open VS Code. So inside terminal or PowerShell, and you just have to type code and full stop, and it's going to open the project in the same directory. As you can see, we have the CRUD project. Now the next thing, I'm going to open the browser and I'm going to type here localhost /PHP MyAdmin, and it's gonna open the PHP MyAdmin dashboard. Now I'm gonna create a database and let's type a name and create. So it's gonna create a database. Now inside database we need a table. So let's create users table with number of columns 4. Let's create. Now we have to fill this table. So the first column will be ID and it will be auto increment, and make sure it is primary. Now the next, let's choose name and it's gonna be varchar, and let's add the length. Now the next, it's gonna be email and it will be the same. And for the fourth one, we need to created 8. So for this, we will choose the type of timestamp. So when we create a record, it's gonna add a date and time, and it's gonna be a current timestamp. So now let's save this. All right, so we have created our table. Now let me check, and that's it. We don't have any data, but we will put that using PHP. So let's get back to VS Code, and here I'm gonna create db.php file. Inside this file, we will connect our PHP to our PHP MyAdmin. So for that, we need 4 variables. The first one will be localhost, and using Shift Alt and arrow down, you can copy line as it is. Now, let me make this bigger. All right, so we have users. Now, third one will be password, and it's going to be empty, and the database will be crud underscore db. Now we have variables, and now we have to pass these variable to connection is equal to new object mysqli, and we will passing these variable to this function. All right, now we have passing these values, and after that we have to check if the database is connected or not. So we will check for the error connection and connect error. If the database is not connected, it's gonna execute die function and it will show us the error. So let's concatenate the error. Now, if our database is connected, it's gonna execute echo database is connected successfully. Alright, let me close the PHP tags and let's test this out. So in the new tab, I'm gonna type localhost and project folder. Now let's open this and you can see database is connected successfully. And if I change database name like this and check again, you can see we got the error. So let's change this. All right. Now let's create another file and that will be index.php. Now let's connect our db.php file. So I'm gonna include that. And now we have connected our db file. Let's test this out. So I'm gonna open the browser and I'm gonna open index file so we can see database is connected. So let me just remove this. All right. Now inside index.folder, let's create HTML skeleton and let's give it a title. Inside body tag, let's create a heading and that will be user list. After that, let's add anchor tag, create.php. Now let's create a table, give some border and cell padding. Inside table, we need table row and table data. And here we will be fetching row ID. And let's create three more. Now let's add name and email. Now let's create another table data and add anchor tag update.php with the passing of ID. So we will be passing ID to update.php file. Now let's create for delete. So it's gonna delete the record. But before that, we need to confirm. For that, we will be using onClick function and we will be asking user to confirm that are you sure. Alright, so we have created delete. Let's add a question mark here. So we have created delete button and edit. Let's add another row and it's gonna be table heading. So we need four table headings: action, email, and name. Now after that we have to loop through the data. So for that we will be typing PHP. So I'm gonna open PHP tag and inside that we will be fetching data from database. So result is equal to connection and pass the query function and let's type the query. So select all from users table Now let's fetch that using while loop. Inside while loop function, row assign to result, and it's gonna fetch associate. Let me clean the code a bit and grab that bracket, and let's put that bracket here. After that, let's open the browser, and you can see we have the table, but we don't have data, so let's add some data manually. And John and john@gmail.com. So we have added data. Now we have a record, and we have also a record in our table. So now we have to work on the create.php file. So let's create a file, create.php. Let's connect our database. And now we need if the server gets request method and the method is post, then it's gonna execute this code. We need variable name, and we will get name value from global variable post, and we also need email. Now let's create a statement, and inside prepare function we will be passing our SQL query. So it's going to be insert into users, and we will be inserting name, email, and its values. Now after that, create statement and bind parameters. So we are binding the above parameter name and email to SS. And let's execute. When the statement execution is completed, let's redirect user to location, and that will be index.php. Now let's add the HTML skeleton, add a title, add new user. Now inside body tag, let's create a heading. After that, let's create a form, and the method will be post. And let's remove the action. Now inside form, let's create name and input. Let's create attribute name and make it required. Let's break the line, and after two break line we need another input, and that will be email. Now we need a button for submission, so let's create a submit button. So we have our form, we have our PHP code. Now let's test this out in a browser, and you can see we are at create.php. So let's add some data. So it's gonna be Martha @gmail.com. And you can see we have added data using PHP. We can also see database. The next thing we have to work on the edit, and after that we will work on delete. Let's create a file, and that will be update. Now inside that we will do the same. We will connect database and we will grab the ID using get, which is global variable, and pass that ID to result connection query function, and we will select all from users where ID is equal to the variable. Now let's execute this query and fetch data using fetch associate function. Now after that we have to grab some PHP code from the create.php and paste that here. And we have to change our SQL query. So I'm gonna remove that and let's create update users and set name value and email value. And we will also set where ID is equal to the same ID. So let's add I here and add the ID variable. After that, let's go to the create.php and copy that form and let's paste that here. Let's change edit user and here as well update user. Now let's fetch the data from the database here so we can see that which record we are updating. So I'm gonna fetch row name and let's add that in the email as well. Alright, so let's save this and let's test this in a browser. So if I go to edit and we have the data in the fields. So if I update like Sarah and you can see the data is updating perfectly. Let's edit this one and it's working as well. Let's change the email and perfect. Now we have to work on delete. So let's create delete file and let's connect the database. Now let's add the ID here and get the ID using global variable and pass that to the connection query and let's create delete query. After deleting, redirect user to location index.php. Let's close bracket. So we are redirecting user to index.php. Now let's test. So I'm gonna delete this row and it's gonna asking using this function on click, it's gonna return, are you sure you want to delete this row? Okay, and it's gonna delete from database. Let's delete this one, and we don't have any data. Now let's add, and it's working perfectly. Let's edit, and it's working as well. So I hope you will like this tutorial. If you like, please make sure to subscribe our channel, and I will see you in the next video.